Shalom, beautiful family, and thank you so much for joining us for another one of our Yom Had conversations that I pray will be an edification to you, an encouragement to you wherever you are. And we're always thankful when you get to join us. I see several of you are already piling in. I think this is one of those you're going to want to share. You're going to want to get your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, your enemies, your cats, your dogs. Get everybody over here because this is a conversation that we kind of have to have. And I know some of it might not be, some of this is going to be kind of uncomfortable. We sometimes have to deal with topics that not everybody likes to talk about. And we get that. And we're not really trying to be bothersome. But unfortunately, it's like the grown-ups in the room. We have to bring up the 600-pound gorilla that is definitely manifesting in front of us. And for those of you that are catching up, you know that Mystery Babylon is spoken of prophetically in the scripture. And maybe you're just now buying your Bible. Maybe you're just now cracking it open. Maybe you're just now going, hey, there's things going on. I want some insight. And we're sure glad you stopped by, and certainly glad that you found our channel, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. We're grateful you're here. Please, again, do share the link. And look, I have my brother there from New Zealand. I have a few family members in New Zealand. I can't wait to go to New Zealand. Anybody near New Zealand, I think you guys have the world's best place in the world. I tell you, it's so gorgeous. Every time I see pictures, I just kind of, New Zealand. That's how I feel. And tonight we're going to be talking about the subject of Mystery Babylon. We're going to be talking about the collapse of what was prophesied to fall down. After all, we should always remember that we were given these warnings for a reason, so that we wouldn't be afraid. Okay. And of course, you know that one of the resources that we keep enjoying around here is the Truther's Journal. And so tonight, breaking some of this down with me tonight will be my brother, Jerael Tomah. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you with me.
Oh, it's exciting to be with you all and the remnant tonight. We're definitely living in exciting times.
We are.
And so,
you could call it exciting. Some of it looks a little, I don't know, manipulated.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Well, it's troublesome times, and so, and like the song says, troublesome times are here, filling men's hearts with fear.
Come on now. I want to remind everybody to get on over to the truthersjournal.com, and he's helping and walking as Yahusha has led us, and in the feeding of all the thousands, more than even 5,000, we hope, come and get fed by the things that Yahuah has shown and exposed in this hour, which are very, very encouraging things indeed. And I think, guys, these folks are involved in some of this. I don't know. This Mystery Babylon is starting to come undone. I see Sauron's tower starting to fall down. Everybody's waking up. What do you think, Gerald? I don't know.
Well,
Truth's Journal starting to have an impact.
Yeah. Well, personally, I feel that this is planned. This is part of the tearing down of the old, and coming up with the Phoenix, with the new world order. And this is their plan. If they can destroy it, then they can reorganize and bring it up with less, people to manage. And the ones that are, well, they be worker bees to support that corporation, to keep the military and the government, up and running. So,
he's nailing it. He's nailing it as usual. Gerald knocks it out of the park in a few sentences, folks. That's exactly right. This thing goes back. Gerald, I think this thing goes back before the flood.
Yeah. Well, now actually, it goes back to Cain, and we have a good article about Cain, the mark of Cain, and we find out that he is the first anti-Messiah.
Oh,
We find out
vagabond
that he
Cain.
was the one that built the cities and the walls and the towers,
Mm.
and the construct that we're living in today, the ancient Babylon, which would be made up of course, a religious, because he's wanting to be Messiah. So it'd be
And don't you think for a second it ain't religious? Don't make me show you the back of that ugly dollar and tell me that
then
ain't a religion.
political, and the government control, you
Come
see,
on now.
and then also the economics of it all, to feed,
Mm.
the corporation. So there's where the original blueprint started, and it went on throughout history. We
Where's
went through,
Babylon come in? Now let's fast
well,
forward to
now we
Babylon.
coming up to the
Babylon.
flood
How did
time,
Babylon get in there?
Yes, yes. Then we had, of course, the flood, takes place, to destroy, you know, uh, you know, the earth, and then it started repopulating, and Nimrod resurrected the old blueprint and plan, and I believe he was probably a child of the Nephilim, and or a child of Cain, a
That's
Canaanite.
right.
Yeah, more than likely a Canaanite, and so there, him and his mother and wife started building on this Trinitarian system, pyramid of a
Mm.
system, you see, of the political, religious, and economic system, and goddess worship, and
As we look back, what we consistently saw as we continue to review the historical records, they almost did a chicken soup of every kind of any error they could come up with that
yes,
sounded even remotely close to true. They threw it in the pot. Am
yes.
I getting that about
Yeah,
right?
yes.
It's
Well,
that's what
then when it
syncretism is.
moves on up to Constantine, well, he still takes that same blueprint, you see, and
Because he knows it works.
he just went into it, dived into it deeper, you see, and started mixing everything, of all religions and the economies, molding it and melding it into one, empire.
They're always wanting to bring it in together.
Yeah. And,
One ring to rule them all, and then the darkness bind them.
there you go.
Right?
There
That's
you
these
go.
guys, man. They're all a bunch of control freaks, right? Okay.
They are.
So let me see if I have this right. So since the beginning, there's been a secret group. We know because it says the Nephilim taught, right? And so what were they teaching? Well, they're teaching rulership under their way of ruling. And they would manipulate people, control them, drug them, use potions, lotions, and all kinds of other control mechanisms. And so this became the passed on sort of religion, if you want to call it this, because it's weaponizing the error of Balaam, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah.
that the weaponization
Yes.
of error? And the people don't even know where to begin to look for the error.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're in a trap they can never get out of because they need him to provide the way
Yeah.
of escape.
Yeah.
He's the only one. Yahuwah says there is no other savior, right? So if
That's
he doesn't provide the way of escape,
yeah.
there isn't one.
Yeah.
You're trapped
Yeah.
if you don't have that. Okay.
Now,
So go ahead, brother, because I got a couple questions about this mystery
remember,
Babylon.
now, no, and then later on, as Constantine was, establishing, and getting rid of the Nazarene, you see, and finding, people that would compromise,
Yes, people that could call him out.
yeah, to join up with them, and so the Nazarene was started to be, well, they've been was killing them, and they had to run for their lives. And some of them was brave enough to take death, than deny Yahusha.
But
And
we all
so,
know that that's not very many
and
when
so,
it comes down to it.
yeah, and so here we come, bringing in the, people was wanting the scriptures because
Mm-hmm.
at that time only it was written in Latin, probably Latin Vulgate, and that would be spoken, and nobody could have the right to read the scriptures. So they had control of the scriptures, and matter of fact, the King James that was being provided, being written was written by Jesuits and these backslidden Khazarian or Pharisees. You
Well,
see,
and that's what brings in the Babylonians, because what people don't realize is that once they rejected Messiah, so remember he prophesied about them. Remember that, guys? He said, "You brood of vipers,
yeah,
you will go over hill and dale to make twice the servant of hell as yourselves. You will not enter in, but you will prevent the way for others who are entering in." So he told us that they would do this. And I got on the screen Babylonian money magic, how modern commercial law is based in ancient Babylonian codes. Most people didn't know that, brother. Most
yeah,
people were unaware that ancient Babylonian codes are still being used to this day.
yes, absolutely,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's interesting,
yeah,
don't you think?
yeah,
And one of the things that we talked about in our historical review, and we continue this review, folks, because there isn't a book you read and you get it all. There isn't a one single study or one single review, because it comes off in layers.
yeah,
And as we learn, right? And Gerald and I will both will tell you this, we learn something, and then we have to go back to things that we already looked at and look at it again, because now we've got new eyes on
yeah,
maybe what they were trying to pull off, or maybe what they now we see, oh, they were trying to erase, like when we discovered the plot against his name, right, Gerald?
yeah,
6,800 times they replaced the name of Yahuah with
yeah,
what? The Lord, means Baal.
yeah,
So they were pulling a trick or switcheroo to put people under bondage without them knowing that they were. This seems to be a big theme. They want you to be under bondage without you being aware of the bondage or how to unravel it.
yeah.
That seems to be key to the money magic, doesn't it?
I've been talking to my aunt. She's 80 some years old, and I understand, it's hard to grasp when you get older to new
Right.
things. And I've been telling her about the name for ages, and she called and wanted me to pray for her because she had to go through some cancer, treatment. And I prayed for her in the name of Yahusha. And and she was and she kept on wanting to say the Lord, And I said, Aunt Jessie, you know what you're saying when you use the Lord? I said, you're calling him Baal Gad. Baal Gad is what you're calling him. The Lord
They
is
didn't
Baal.
even know. So they
And
threw a trick in there to
Baal, you
get you
know
to
who
curse
Baal is?
yourself.
Gad is short for Gadriel. That's the
Right.
devil.
And it's
So
pronounced God. It's
yeah,
pronounced God. So
yeah,
they used a
the
phonetic
Lord
trick.
God.
They
Yeah,
used a phonetic trick to trick us into saying things that cursed ourselves. That's the Babylonian money magic trick. It
yeah.
is the trick of Balaam.
The same ones that written your Bible, is the same ones that's running your Federal Reserve and Rothschild's
Oh,
money.
let's not run off too quick. Hold on a minute. Don't run off too fast. Slow down just a
But
moment.
they are.
We got to
They're
stop off in the 1600s to
in the
talk to a
same
man.
house, the same
But
drug.
before we get there, we got to talk about a different group, because you mentioned the Babylonians and you mentioned the money magic, but you forgot a group, and that's the Radonites,
Random
who
nights.
invented a very specific thing that continues to this day to throw people off, especially Bible students, something called vowel points.
Yeah.
In the 8th century, they came up with these vowel points. They weren't there before. We can look in the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's no vowel points, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't invent those yet.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do. I hate to tell you this. This is Yiddish. This is not Hebrew. This is
Oh,
Yiddish.
yes, that's right.
And they invented it so that they could send letters in the open. And unless you had the cipher, you could not decipher the letter. That, my friends, is called cryptography. Cryptography.
Yeah.
Might want to hold on to that concept. Okay, so they needed to do commerce on something called the Silk Road. The Silk Road was a commerce route that was used from all the way from England, London,
Oh,
all the way to China
yeah.
and all the way back and forth. And what did they sell on the Silk Road?
Salt,
Do you-
spices, and of course the silk, and 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 nice luxurious things that they would trade. And
yeah, that was the cover story. What
yeah,
was their number one product?
probably slavery.
That's right. That's right. The rest was a cover story. Oh, yeah, while they were transporting these slaves, we may as well have the slaves transport some spices or silks or some other things that
If someone's
require
going to
labor.
carry it, you can
Since
have
we're going to see, when you got slaves, you can make them carry stuff and what have you, right?
it.
But the
Yeah,
real product was slaves.
yeah,
And so they became known as slavers, and they were very, very, very good at it.
yeah.
And as a matter of fact, they were outlawed in the city of London for something like 400 years because of their propensity toward these habits, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Along comes the King James, who is a flaming out of the box LGBT XYZ King James. Okay. It's not even a secret. It's a open,
Yeah.
openly known fact that he's on the record in the House of Commons on this matter, defending his personal proclivities. So we don't have to go any further than the man's own words to know his proclivities, right? So this is the person people swear by, which is an amazing thing in and of itself. But he employed the services of a man by the name of Mr. Francis Bacon, who headed the group called the Knights of the Helmet, who introduced 20,000 words to the English language and essentially sent us down this road of chaos we find ourselves in today, because they're the ones that came up with the new Atlantis, the new millennium, the new world order. He's the one, guys, by the way, Francis Bacon, fascinating individual. He took the Freemasons, from an actual builders guild, which had 9 degrees, to 33 degrees based on a cipher of his last name. Now you know where that came from. Little FYI for you. And so historically, we know that they were already very much battling with the topic of keeping their populations under control. King James had written a book called Demonology in 1598
Yes.
because this was a serious issue of concern among the leadership, especially of Europe, who were always concerned that their people were going to turn on them. So they were always looking for ways to control them. For example, the invention of coffee, which was debuted in London so as to make people addicted to caffeine, was one of the many methods that were used. They evolved it
I
to
think heroin
fluoride.
and morphine was real bad during that time too, that era.
A lot of it came from the alchemists. These were people who were looking
Yeah.
for all kinds of mechanisms
Hmm.
to control folks. Okay. And they utilized the witchcraft of the day. They had a very good knowledge of that witchcraft, and they utilized it in the way that they spelled things in those books. That's why they called it the authorized. So if you were caught with anything else, it could cost you your life. So by the time they got to, excuse me, they got rid of a king, by the way, in this time period. From the time they did the King James Bible, King Charles I rose up against them. He's ruling from Edinburgh. He had no idea that coming against London would cost him his life, but it did, because the Radnites were ruling from London. And as a result of this, they were able to undo that law. So they got rid of the king, brought in Oliver Cromwell, with, I believe, the only intention was to unseat that law that was prohibiting their open operation in the city of London. That law was repealed during the interregnum, And as a result, they brought back Charles's son, King Charles II, in 1660. He was a drunken buffoon. He didn't care about nothing but sleeping with women, drinking all day, and just didn't want to get killed like his father. He let them do whatever they wanted to do. He was just a figurehead. You watch from 1660 to 1666, they come under the influence of Sabbatai Sevi, the occultist who was declared the Messiah. Are you ready, guys? By over 1 million people at that time. So without Instagram, without none of that, without Facebook, he had 1 million followers. And he was declared the Messiah in the year 1666. You cannot make this up. The same year that they came up with the Sesque V Act following the Great Fire that wiped out half of the city of London. So in that Sesque V Act, what they did was they put you all at sea. You became lost at sea. Isn't that right, brother? They became cargo. That's why they spell your name in all caps. Isn't that right?
Right.
So that indicating the corporation you instead of the real you. Okay.
Yes.
Without getting all into it detail, you guys are waking up to this. Many, many good teachers are out now explaining the legal elements of this, how they pulled this con, how they pulled grammar fraud. All of these courts are operating in grammar fraud.
Yes.
They don't even know that they're conducting grammar fraud. And there are very excellent teachers of grammar that are now breaking it down for them and showing that they're committing fraud in many of their papers. So this whole thing is unraveling because it was built on lies from Jump Street. Okay. And that includes your Declaration of Independence. That includes all the things that they lied to you about since then. So that cryptography was all embedded in everything they were doing, which is why you see images. We have images, but you don't know what they all mean. Like you can go down to Washington and you don't know what all those images mean, do you, brother? You're looking at all these statues and stuff. You might not know what you're looking at. Owls and a woman with a golden helmet and holding an owl in her hand. What does that mean? Who is that? And you don't know because they don't tell you.
Yeah.
But that's where your money's being printed, right? That's where they're running things from. Okay. So what are the last days prophecies concerning the fall of Babylon the Great? What's it telling us to be prepared for? What's the Truther's Journal going to warn us to be on the lookout for?
Well, there's going to be things are just going to continue to get worse, from day one. Things are not going to get better. We're in a slide that can't be stopped. I believe the whole earth is going to be shaken. I believe everything that can be shaken is going to be shaken. That means physically, spiritually, mentally, every which way. If it can be shaken, it's going to be shaken. We're going to go through a sifting. Then we'll know who's going to be standing and who's not, and who's the real deal and who's the make believe.
Here we go, folks. Here we go. And the scripture tells us that in the last days, that according to Revelation 13, it's a very scary passage, folks. I mean, a lot of folks say they read their Bibles, but do they really believe what's happening here? Do they really see where we're walking right toward? Okay. Yeah. Well, he warned us for a reason. There's a reason why an apostle was given a prophetic word and told us 2,000 years in advance that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And then he threw in cryptography. You can't make this up. He says, here is wisdom. Let him that understand count the number of the beast, for is the number of a man, and his number is 636. And unless you understood what he was saying, you would think it was a number, and you would spend years, decades doing charts and graphs on numbers and gematria and all kinds of other stuff, not knowing he wrote 3 letters that pronounce a name. 2,000 years in advance, he called it. He nailed it. John nailed it. He spells out Jesus. Because the letter J hadn't been invented. So he heard something in the Ruach. When he was traveling in the Ruach, he heard it. And he didn't know how else to write it. And he knew it was a mystery. He knew it was a mystery name, right? It wasn't the name given. It sure wasn't the name that the angel brought.
No.
Okay? Yeah, this was going to keep a
Also,
lot of people cursed.
Essus or Isus, you know, and that's where we find Jesus getting his first, you know,
The origin of the
created.
word Jesus comes from Essus, which is a Druid sun savior, and a big part of the influence of Constantine came from Britannia, from the Celts and the Celtic Druids, who were very highly revered at the time, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah.
In all of Europe. So historically, we're inheriting some really crazy notions that people had in the 16 and 1700s about how to commercialize people, about how to turn you into a birth certificate, about how to monetize you in a way that you wouldn't even know you were enslaved, so that you wouldn't even know what they had done to you. And you would go on oblivious, just living out your lives. Oblivious, right? Isn't that the way that they said it in the Matrix? That's what they want. They want you oblivious to the control matrix that they have erected around you that is preventing you from ascension, from being who Yahuah called you to be the vessel of Yahuah that he called you to be. So they got you trapped in a curse pentagram. If you take an aerial photograph and you go above Washington, D.C., what will we see? What do we see, brother?
All kinds of witchcraft and emblems and, you know, Freemasonry, Illuminati stuff.
Where'd they put the White House?
Yeah.
Right on the tip of a pentagram or a Masonic symbol.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna make America great from there.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding? You're gonna make Babylon great, maybe.
Yeah.
I said you make Babylon great.
Yeah.
But you ain't
America
great
very
from there.
founding father, you know, who they call George Washington,
Come on now.
was a high-ranking Freemason. So he was already in the take, you know, with Great Britain right there from the get-go.
Now watch this, guys, because they done this trick on you. We're
He
gonna
was
bring in another guest
already
here in a moment.
a blood relative of the British Crown.
See, and if you
Mr.
start
George.
looking in, you're going to see that every one of these presidents are not very far away from the same bloodlines, right? So, wow, isn't that interesting?
It all leads you
Okay.
to the British
It all
Crown.
kind of comes back home, doesn't it? All right. And so they thought they won some war. Oh, please. Oh, please stop the nonsense. Let's all realize something. The borrower is slave to the lender. The end. The so-called Civil War, which really was a war of destruction so that they could bring in Catholicism and put all the country into a different form of mind control. Their form of mind control had failed. And the old European guys could come over and say, hey, well, you guys tried your model and that didn't work. Look, you guys ended up in a civil war. You know what you need to do? You need to bring in Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to put Asherah poles in everybody's living room. You need to let us in, and we'll bring this thing back down. We'll put them all back to sleep.
Yeah.
You laugh and you think I'm kidding. I'm as dead serious as you can get. They knew exactly what would happen to the population in just a matter of a few generations. They would turn them into a bunch of hoochies on TikTok or something. They went from writing eloquent letters that could have been books on their own. Kids that went to school in a single room schoolhouse could write like Ernest Hemingway, but children that have the most deluxe education and equipment can't compose a sentence with both hands and a flashlight. Yeah. So we're definitely the product and the result of some serious mind control techniques. Wouldn't you agree, brother?
Oh, absolutely. And And so, and they've been practicing this for years. The techniques work, and they keep on repeating it. And once you start waking up and you start noticing things, you'll see the pattern.
That's right.
You'll catch on, the things that they're up to. When the light
That's right.
starts coming on, I mean, you'll start seeing things that you've never thought you'd ever see.
Well, and that's why I want to keep alerting you guys, talk about things you might not have seen. Well, once again, alert you to the Truther's Journal. Get over there and listen to or read some of these things that he puts out, especially this type of article right here, because it'll really open your eyes to the way they're manipulating things behind the scenes.
Yes.
And so I want to bring on one of our additional guests tonight. Thank you, brother, for your insight. And I wanted to ask a different question, because some of the things that we're seeing right now indicate severe collapse. And today I had the privilege of sitting with my brother Jeff Proviciero, who of course has been with us here at New Kingdom for several years. And what I'm thankful about with Jeff is that he has an excellent background, not only in energy dynamics and in energy science, but he also was a bit of a crypto buff for quite a while. So he kind of jumped into the whole crypto scene really early on. So I wanted to bring him on tonight and welcome him to the broadcast. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us. And we'll go ahead and take off Brother G there. And Jeff, I wanted to talk to you about this because we sat together. You know this. We had an afternoon full of it, and we began to watch something that was manifesting in front of our eyes. Now, we can talk about spiritual things all day, and we do that a lot. And if you come on this channel, you're going to hear a lot about what the anointing is saying and what Yahuah is showing us. But right now, you don't need spiritual eyes to see what they're doing, do you, Jeff?
No, the separation is happening live right in front of us. We're watching history right now. So you've talked about the fact that in general, we're in a period of time of separating, people and all that. And so there's been some obvious ones in the recent last couple of years everyone knows about. But that separating is continuing to happen. And right now there's a separation of economies. And he's separating two groups right now.
That's right. And I do believe that Yahuah is going to use these things for his glory, his kavod. Nevertheless, he chose us things so we can kind of say, oh, see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
So, we are no longer conspiracy theorists. We are now pattern recognition specialists, okay? That's what we are. We recognize patterns. We catch them as they try to play games. But I want to take us back a little bit because you have a historical perspective. You were a Silicon Valley swinging kind of guy. You were hanging out with all these people. All right. And so tell the audience about the origin and trajectory of this new financial ledger system called Bitcoin and blockchain. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Around 2009, supposedly
2009.
The official story that went out was a cryptographer from the NSA decided to stick it to the man. So he was going to make a breakaway system to end the Fed. And everyone knows the Federal Reserve, of course, is the Radonite Pharisaical Jesuit mafia that you guys were just talking about with Gerald. Well, their big stroke of genius in the modern era, of course, was to talk countries into giving them a monopoly on printing money. So the U.S. handed over authority to a private company, a monopoly. So you print dollars for us. And so, of course, immediately right after this crew got the ability to print endless supply of the U.S. dollar, the next year, of course, was World War I. The Great Depression, then World War II, because they could just print the money and create whatever mayhem they wanted. So this guy supposedly in 2009 said, we're not going to do that anymore. I'll tell you how we're going to beat the system, and we'll break away from this Radonite system, this debt system. We're going to create a ledger called the blockchain, which is just accounting.
Which is genius, by the way. Genius, because it requires multiple witnesses. So in and of itself as a technology is just a technology. So that by itself is just that. It is
It's
not
brilliant.
in and of itself. It's actually brilliant. So go ahead.
Yeah, you do a transaction, and then everyone else in the world can see it. So there's no way to cheat. There's no way to inflate the currency. There's no way to print extra coins or dollars out of nowhere. It's full accountability, limited supply. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was you don't have to go ask people to send money. Like, please, can I just send money from here to there? Then you got to pay a fee, and you got to wait 3 days. And you get at the end of every year, you have to tell people all your business and what you made, and So he just said, we're not doing that anymore. We're creating this universal ledger, accounting ledger throughout the internet. It's called the blockchain. And the first coin, if you will, was called Bitcoin, and it was a digital dollar in effect. And,
was that the origin of a digital dollar?
No, the dollar.
Okay. I want to stop right there. Stop right. Go ahead. Finish that. What you were just going to say. Go ahead. Tell them. The dollar's been digital. What?
Yeah, everyone gets mystified by crypto coins. It's crazy. No, you've been using crypto coins for the last 40 years. Got news for you.
Yep. Hate to break it to you, folks. Told you weren't.
You take that debit card and swipe it. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know either. It could be
the
gremlins.
U.S. dollar is really just a token now, isn't it? It's USD.
Absolutely.
It's
Every once in a while, someone has a piece of paper, that looks like what it used to be a dollar, but in reality, it's all digital tokens.
And has been for a long time. Country in 1999 lost its flag. I don't have time to explain all of that to you. You can do a little research. You'll find it. Just find out about the flag and how 1999 was a pivotal year. And this is the year that he sent me to 40 cities. He also sent another man to pick up the U.S. flag. The country has been operating on gas ever since, folks. So what you're seeing is the collapse of something that should have collapsed a while ago and has been operating on some form of inertia ever since. So in 2009, Mr. Crypto Expert, here's a question for you. This was the year that Bitcoin was developed, right? Isn't that the year, 2009? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, can you tell us what other cryptocurrency was created in 2009 that just now is getting press?
There was another coin that was created that was specially designed for banking, for transferring funds between each other to replace the SWIFT system. And that coin was XRP.
So XRP was created months after Bitcoin. Only you've just now heard about it because Bitcoin was the beta test. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And the real coin, the one that they can actually use to do what they want to do, which is control world currency and commerce, is a much faster, much more efficient, much more powerful tool. But they had to break the idea. So in 2009 or 2010, let's give it a year, they got started. They got it going. They got it going on. They finally got Bitcoin to 50 cents, man. They're cranking. They're running like a corgi, man. Right? And you take $2,500 and you take a risk and you buy Bitcoin at 50 cents.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of putting it in the bank, you bought Bitcoin because you just had a wild hair in your head that this thing might someday be something. What would that 5,000 Bitcoin, let's say you bought 5,000 Bitcoin, what would that be worth today? Do you know the number?
I know the approximation. Let me give you, I'll only answer by giving a comparison. If you kept your $5,000 in dollars,
right?
Okay, the printing press kept printing and printing and printing. So today you might be able to buy $3,500 worth of stuff with that $5,000 if you're lucky. But if you put that $5,000 in Bitcoin,
no, before you put it in Bitcoin, let's put it in gold. What happens then? In 2010,
nothing.
To today,
Boring.
To today,
snooze fest.
You doubled. You got a 1x.
Snooze
you got
fest.
or 2x, right? Is it 2x or 1x? Yeah. How do you say that? Is it a 1x?
2x. If it doubles, it's a 2x.
2x. So it's so gold 2x since 2010. Gold is awesome.
Wow.
Silver about the
boy.
same. Wow, huh? The
Yeah.
one they're out there, Noble Gold, telling you all to jump into. Now you know who they work for. Okay, because it's all
In theory,
crankers.
gold should have, but it's a manipulated market.
Stocks,
So that
you might have made 20% average if you did really good. If you were a good trader and had a good trader, got a good broker, you might have made 20%. You know what you would have had if you had 5,000 Bitcoin in 2010 you had today? You know what you'd have? 400. You ready? 400. Are you ready? $465 million. Now you may say, "Oh, that's a scam. And it's Bitcoin's a scam. It's a total scam. The whole thing is rigged. It's a scam." No, what it was meant to do is exactly what it's doing. It's revealing the debt clock in reverse. It's showing you exactly what's happening to your value every single day. You know, if you go look at the debt clock and you see it always turning like a corgi, okay, running and adding to that debt. Well, that's what's happening to your US dollar every single day. Am I right, Jeff? What did we watch today?
Yes. We watch what happens when the value of a community goes back into the currency, which is how it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be stolen from. You're supposed to.
So we saw
produce-
XRP today,
Yeah.
and we were watching XRP today. Let's stay on this topic, Jeff. Let's talk about what we watched today. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about what we watched today.
Well,
you and I watching the same screen. What were we seeing?
You act like it's
How
past
much? What
history.
percentage?
From $1.90 to 240, whatever that is.
Okay, so you just lost against the world again. The US dollar lost 30-something%. Guys, the amount of speed that it's like, okay, so if this is a boat, this is why I'm so hyper, okay? If this is a boat, and when you're a shepherd, you want to save all your people. If this is a boat, and it's just started taking on water a few years ago, the water is coming in real heavy duty now. So this boat's going to capsize. And we're literally pulling our hairs out going, what's the plan? What's the plan? No, here's my question, okay? Because I've been asking this question of a lot of leaders. What's the plan? Where are you telling people to sleep on their resources? He said not to lay up your treasure here on earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt and thieves break through and steal. Sounds like he's describing these guys. So where are you telling people is going to be any form of safe haven? And before you answer me, leader, Mr. Businessman or pastor or government leader, moving from USD to BTC or BTH to ETH to XRP is still in the system. You're still with the beast. You just changed names.
You've moved over to a more honest form of currency in the fact that it's a fixed supply. There's
Well,
only
you're
so
in
many
bed with them
Bitcoin.
all still.
There's only so many Ether. So it's more honest in the sense that it's a fixed supply. You can't inflate it. So you're going to see increased value. But now the question is, okay, which one of those is set apart? And set apart land that's Torah based.
This is the question I asked. I asked this one question. I said, where is the one where the saints can unite somewhere? I know it's not the one with the owls on it.
Right.
I know that. That one is a guarantee. Okay. Anything. In fact, if USD, Mr. Crypto, because you've been in this space a long time. Okay. If you had to pick a token and USD, is this token brand new? You never saw it before. And USD was the other choice. What would you pick?
Anything other than the dollar.
Anything,
Get out of the dollar. Get out.
Anything. But I would take a brand new meme coin. Okay.
You know, like the strikeout dance? You know, get out. Get out. You know.
The USD coin is the worst performing coin, I think, in history. It's the only coin that's it's press release, and they actually get up and talk like people should listen. Imagine if we were sitting here with a graph that said you started here and now your actual value is down to 3%. That's called the collapse. Nobody would even want to talk to this coin anymore.
The problem is when you get to where the Titanic reaches that lurch, where it lurches vertical and it's straight up and down.
Yeah.
By that point, the stampede is too late. But I want to say this. You know, people talk about $5,000 then is $465 million. Now, I believe we're in a Bitcoin moment now. People said, "Oh, I wish I was back then." You are back.
We saw it today, didn't we? We saw a 20% move today. So let me explain to you what I mean by that, because I've been saying close to 30% move. That's a massive drop of value. So, and they're not going to give it back, guys. We watched this 3 times now since the election. We've watched multiple times. The elders have been sitting, pulling their hair out, watching this because we know what it is. You may not. This is robbery. They are stealing from mothers, from families, from children, from retirees, from people who went and spent decades working very hard to put things away, and they're stealing it through a clever manipulation. And that's why I'm lit, because I can't stand it. I can't stand thinking that we are somehow endorsing this buffoonery, and people are thinking that's a good place to hang out. Why, if you ask them, well, what should I do with this, resource I just got? The natural answer most people would say is you better put that in the bank. That is the place of robbery we're finding out, isn't it, Jeffrey?
Yeah, we're watching 2 different economies form right before our eyes. There's going to be one person that's going to be able to pay more for the groceries than the other person simply because they chose wisely. There's several separating moments. This is one of them, and economically, this is an economic separation.
That's exactly.
Now, the good news is I want to say this: you don't have to be, a genius or a financial whatever. You can just go to places where that's already being done for you. You don't have to think about it.
There's 2 hills, and I've got a feeling we're the only one on the other hill. But I want to mention something to you folks. Is one of the things that I believe is really happening here that you're seeing real time. Okay, real time. Somebody says, "Oh, I'm watching these coins go up." No, you're not. Stop thinking like they want you to think. You need to reverse that. Since 2010, you have now a documented ledger of the collapse of the US dollar. You now can see how it's dropping. So instead of looking at it like you're on this platform and the dollars, or I'm sorry, these cryptos are like moving up, right? And so you have this perspective like, oh, this is going up. Look at it's going up. No, it's not true. It's the opposite thing. This is going down. This is standing still. That ledger has no other way of recording an event other than the time it occurred. So if it moves value, it means the time since the last entry, a value change has occurred. Where'd that come from? It only records. So that value change had to come from somewhere. It came from the market. It came from people lowering their expectations one bit at a time until we've reached this place. That is what we're seeing.
It's one thing to read about, the big change, the big reset, the big jubilee. Oh, somebody went up and
you're in it right now. Were you waiting for a buzzer? This is here's the buzzer. Great reset happening. Wealth transfer happening right now.
Yeah, 3.5 years. Somebody went up a hill. This, that. Right. No, it's happened. It's there were no billboards in Messiah's time. Right. There was no the Jerusalem Times didn't say this is fulfilled. This is fulfilled. I'm telling you, it's happening now, and that's what's going on.
Now, we always, since the beginning, have had to interact with this world. There's no way to
saying, releasing a word, this is crumbling, or there's a jubilee. Okay, that's great intellectual, but no, then the rubber hits the road. You got to take action and take advantage of that jubilee. And that's what's happening now, because there's going to be people standing next to someone in the grocery store. And they can't figure out why this person is able to pay the $10 for the can of whatever, and they can't. Why can they pay their bills? Where are they getting this extra money from? Well, because they're on a separate economy. Things are separating before our
Things
eyes.
are separating. Wheat and tare separation. This is one of the reasons why I'm very proud of all you elders. We want to bring on one more of our elders tonight. And I'm very proud of you guys because you guys, did not put your head in the sand. And you could have just taken care of you and yourselves. I'm very, very proud of you for what we're seeing today, what we can talk about today. Because why talk about problems unless we can present some solutions, right? And I am very thankful for the courage, for the fortitude, for the tenacity. We came into that space trying to understand how to function, how to get separated, how to create some distance, because we're set apart, okay? And we came into that space trying to understand what that is about. I have gotten a degree, I feel like, in on this whole area, this whole space. And what I've learned is that it is rigged. There's a lot of rigging to it. We talked about that just today. As a matter of fact, I was doing some research and I asked, just different topics. I was doing some research and it basically, my research was coming back that, up to 90%, I'm trying to find the quote, but I quoted it to you. Remember, up to 90% of all the trading activity that you're watching every day out there is being done by robots. Did you know that? 70 to 90%.
Things are moving fast.
Okay.
So,
and I'm not going to be able to tell you everything. I can tell you this, guys. Let me tell you a couple of things. One, I wanted to know a little bit about how Facebook works, so I made a discussion board in 2016. That's why I tell you don't communicate except on a dedicated server, because I learned some things. When I wanted to learn about YouTube, I created a video server. I learned a lot about how YouTube controls things, about their algorithm and how it works. And when you get in the middle of things and you dig in and you start to learn, well, there were no classes for some of the things that we're learning, were there, Jeff? There was no place to go to get an education. They're still writing the courses on the stuff that we're discovering, and we're seeing that they have cleverly set up to put us imprisoned. They want to reassert their authority in a new way because their old system has come to its end. It's literally collapsing right in front of us. And tonight I wanted to bring on one of our brethren who had the courage and foresight to see some of this. And he understood that there was a battle ensuing. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this tonight, because it's one thing for us to talk about and try to get moving in the right direction. It's another thing to have the courage to step up. I want to thank my brother David for joining us. Unmute yourself there. Hang on. Let me unmute your mic. Or you got your mic muted. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Glad that you joined us. David's one of our principal people here. And David, you have really gotten an education, especially in the last couple of months, haven't you? You got thrown in the deep end of the pool, didn't you, brother?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? I knew something was wrong. I knew that we weren't going to be able to survive in the current system. I was looking for a way out, and Yahuah was going to provide.
Yeah, we have to continue. One of the things that he promised us is that he would provide the way of escape. Right, that we would be able to bear it. And it couldn't be something beyond our ability to do. Remember that, guys, because he said he would never tempt us above that which we're able to withstand. But with every trial, test, and temptation, he would provide the way of escape. Yes. Now, I've heard some people say some really crazy ideas, like they planned, grid down. You're in Florida, so you know what little grid down situations look like. And they had planned on going out and trading gold and silver for basic supplies. What do you think of that idea? What do you think of that? No, I know you're laughing, but what do you think of the idea of going out like they're doing a drug deal at night, right? What do you think of the idea of running out with a little few gold coins to try to make get some rice? You're gonna get some. A lot of people have that plan.
I have to confess, once upon a time, I may have even thought along those lines.
Yeah, I know.
But
A lot of us did.
we can't eat gold.
No, you can't.
We
Okay,
can't eat silver.
it will never work. It might work
It'll
one
never work.
time.
Yep.
Scooby, come on now, call that out. It will never work. The minute you bring that out, since they know you carrying gold coins, man, you'll never even make it to make your deal.
You're a target.
You're
a target. You won't get very far. As soon as they know you got gold in your pocket,
that won't work. So that whole gold and silver idea, that was a stupid idea. That was just another form of robbery. They tricked you there.
Absolutely.
All right. So what else can you do? Can we trade cash? I hear people talk about that all the time. Cash. Gotta have cash. Give me my cash.
Yeah. You can't trade something that's worthless.
Nothing else. Yeah. But even if it were worth something, it's just another form of that gold and silver, right? So one more thing for them to rob you for.
Sure.
One more reason for your life to be put at peril. So even if it were a viable option, and in fact, let's say we even had a president that came in and said, everybody run for your lives and print cash as fast as possible and get it out. And everybody had cash. It would only incite violence.
Absolutely.
Because it's a bearer bond, isn't it? It's a bearer
tangible.
bond. Whoever has it owns it and can spend it. So there's problems with that idea.
Yes.
And again, we're just having this conversation out loud that we've already had behind the scenes. Okay.
Oh, many
of these conversations. And so we're putting ourselves in these scenarios, real world scenario. And I'm going to bring in our brethren in here as well, because I want to get kind of a roundtable on this. And because we want everybody's thoughts and input on this topic. And one of the things that I believe that we have all been fooled by was the notion that we could somehow manage the world's worst days in history so bad that Messiah says if he don't shorten them, there won't be no flesh saved. But we expect to be leaving our condo like nothing's happening, hop on down to the local shook and sling some silver coins at them and get all the groceries we need to go back to our condo in Cane Town. Come on, Gerald, in Cane Town. And we're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just fine. Everything going to be... You drinking some special kind of Kool-Aid.
Man, you got a big target on your back. Big target.
Especially as the remnant leaves. What does that leave behind? And you're going to plop your bag of silver coins on the counter in the grocery store, So I don't know. Digital has a lot of advantages.
Well, I got another question for you, though. So even if you could do that, and if you could pull it off, and even if that was fine, but what makes those things kadosh?
It can't, because it's full of occultic symbols.
Yeah, they're still common.
Yeah.
You haven't met the kadosh. You haven't met the kadosh checkpoint yet. Where's the kadosh checkpoint? Where's that?
No.
Yeah.
Come on. What's the plan? And I asked this to my brother today, and I'm asking a lot of people. I'm saying, come on, you're all smart guys. Yeah. And I have one of my very honest brothers, Martinez. Okay, he was honest with me. He said, brother, I hadn't given that a lot of thought.
Right.
And this is what makes me so proud of all the elders, especially in this house, because you think about things ahead of time, like energy, housing, water, sewer. We haven't even talked about some of the stuff that we've come up with, right?
Right.
And you guys are always thinking, you're always ahead. Now, you're probably a couple years ahead, right? So this guy coming in, what did he say he wanted? He wanted the United States to become the what? Crypto capital of the world.
Yes.
So anybody who lied to you and told you cryptocurrency was going away really clearly did not understand what was happening all around them. They were fooled.
All they did was badmouth it, okay, poo-poo it, get it to where people are like, oh, wow, you're in crypto? Really? Is that safe?
No.
But it's a window of time where if they're dumping the dollar and moving into crypto, that's a window of time to join that ride. But then the second question becomes, I'll just go ahead and say it, to my knowledge, there's only one medium of exchange on earth that is safe, accountable, fixed supply, and is Torah based.
And it's operating from set apart land. Exactly. You guys already know the answer to that.
Yep.
And you know that can only be found in one place. But I asked this question in 2015.
I remember.
Okay. If I don't go to this hill and I don't blow this trumpet, who will? And we got our answer because we were the only ones on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Had we not gone, there wouldn't have been a petition before Yahuah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand the legal requirement that was necessary? That he put me through. David will tell you, I had to sell and get rid of everything. I had to get
Everything.
on a plane. Thank you, my witness. Okay, one of
Mhm.
many, and had to go up that hill empty pocketed. I had to pass the test of the rich young ruler. I had to go up that hill in tears and
Yes.
pray for this nation. And I knew in the moment, I was in a moment. I said, I knew while I was in the moment, I was in a moment. And Jeff, you were talking about that today, weren't you?
Yeah, I think that's great. But my attitude right now is hats off to Dave and others who are taking advantage of the Jubilee. You know, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's appropriated by faith.
We give thanks.
Let me put it to you like this: in whom do you trust?
Yeah.
This is a trust question.
Yes.
A trust question. It says here they're telling you Gadriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
You know, your Messiah.
The more we learn, the more we're going, oh boy, we got to do something about this.
Well,
we got to do something about this.
Messiah said it would have been better for you had I not been here, because now I'm here to bring light on it. And now there's a standard. Now there's a comparison. Now there's two hills. So now it's going to be worse for the other hill.
What's your point, Jeff? What's your point on that?
If a Jubilee was given, and if an alternative has been presented, and that's not based on Gadriel, that's not based on the owl, that's based on the Torah, and on set apart land. Well, the moment there's a comparison, the moment there's a standard, you better believe there's going to be a separation.
And there's going to be warfare. So when we started this
he's
journey,
going to be grading on a curve. I'll put it. He's going to be grading on a curve.
Yes, in 2020 we started this journey, and we got an education. Boy, did we get our butt handed to us. And we stepped into this space, and wow, oh wow, did we ever get introduced to just how much of it is controlled by machines. It took me several years to reach this place where we have a working grasp of the functionality. In the process, I can tell you for certain what they are doing. In the process of investigating and learning about it for our sake, for our use, right? Just to function, just for functionality.
Right.
He began to reveal things to us. So when we talk about being set apart, this is not a joke, folks. We are sleeping on demonic things without knowing it, aren't we, David?
Absolutely. Positively, 100%, without a doubt. It is cursed.
And David is one of the beta testing elders. We're beta testing solutions right now. Yeah. And David's one of the courageous beta testers who said, I'm courageous. We got to make this work. I'll drink the Kool-Aid. Let's make this thing happen. Right.
Absolutely.
And so, David, you've now had some experience with our remedy that we're experimenting with and working on right now. And so tell us what your experience was like so far.
Well, number one, it's not this, crazy, the way he has it set up now. It's not this crazy, oh my God, this is so intimidating. Sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. This whole...
it's actually appropriate.
Right. And that, it's not as intimidating as people have made it out to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's nothing more than numbers.
Yep.
They're nothing more than numbers.
And we have a sound mind. So they might fool the drunks out there and the drunken sailors. They got them all fooled. Right. You brought sound minds to this table. What do you think the elders started doing, folks? Yeah. They started just deconstructing their whole system. It was beautiful. It's beautiful to behold what's going on. Go ahead, David.
Yes. Well, the amount of, when it first started this journey, the amount of warfare
Mm-hmm.
just right here.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Just
yes. Tell
right
him.
here between the ears.
Tell him, David.
It's amazing the amount of warfare that went into stepping out of Babylon, so to speak, and bringing ourselves over here. Now, I mean, I had to go through every single solitary battle. Because we're so used to getting our butts handed to us, okay, that those kind of thoughts kept going through the mind. And no, don't do this, no way, you can't do this, no way.
Right.
And I
Bad
said,
idea.
you know what,
You're gonna lose your money, right?
exactly. I was looking at my little tiny little portfolio over there, saying, wow, I think I might have got 6% the whole year. The whole year. And I called my guy up and I said, listen, no offense, but you're
Audi 5000.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I can't do this.
Yeah, I can't live
I
like
will
that.
run out of money
Right.
before, So anyway, he was just like, oh, you better know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I've seen so many people get taken advantage of, blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, just do me a favor. Let's get it out of there. Well, I hope you know what you're doing, and I was like, listen, I've done my math.
3 weeks later, by the way, folks.
listen to this. So I take a nice, I'm not going to say the amount, take a nice sum out of there, roughly more than half, and put it in my bank. Whoa. You would have thought that I was the biggest criminal to ever walk the face of this earth.
I told you.
You like that? Oh, I'm sorry. Like I did smaller amounts before, and they went right through. But since it's this dollar amount, okay, we're going to have to hold on to that
for 10 days. The 1980s called and want their methods back.
No, not just 10 days. 10 business days.
10 business days. Like I said, the early 1980s called and want their business. What do we got? Yellow pages I can't do?
Oh my
Give me
goodness.
a break. What do we got? Dial telephones too? What are you walking the money over from downtown? Okay.
So it comes. So that time comes, right?
Yeah, the guy got a doctor's note. Yeah.
Please, can I move my money, please?
Please, can I have permission? Can I have permission, please? Would it be okay with you if I move my hard-earned, busting my butt, sweat? Okay, blood. I actually bled that one day, and you're telling me what I can. Oh, that just. Oh, Gerald. We too old for this.
Yeah.
Don't tell us what to do with what we worked for. Are you outside your mind, little boy? Some 30-year-old asking me what? You
so listen
child?
to this.
I got children older than you.
So listen, the time comes for them to move the money, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Ooh.
Okay.
No, but we're the ones that can't be trusted. Remember that. Just remember,
right.
We the ones that can't be trusted.
The day comes and goes.
Yeah.
And the money's it's still sitting there.
Still sitting there.
It's still sitting there.
He's already got it cleared now, folks. He's gone through the 10 days of business days.
Right.
He went through the wait for the check program. He went for the FedEx is delayed. They pulled everything on this guy for 3 weeks. They put him through. I was so mad. I was feeling so bad for him because I could see what they were doing. They were making it miserable.
But you know what? Yahuah used that to show me that this system is not what it seems.
No bueno.
No bueno. Right? So here the next day comes. Okay? Still nothing. It's like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and finally, I went to the
He's
bank and said,
sick too. You should have heard him.
"What
He was
is
so
going
mad.
on here? What
He was so mad.
are
He
you
let
doing
him
with
up.
my money?"
He lit him up, man. And you know when the old guys show up, you in trouble.
Yeah, you don't. It's,
So here we go. Oh, well, you should have got a phone call from them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, what
But all
about?
they did was throw me a little text.
Oh, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
To tell you
And
what?
one
What about
phone
this
call.
phone call?
On one phone call. Okay. Just left her alone after that. Oh, we gave them their one phone call. And we gave them the obligatory text. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So I go and I look. Sure enough, there's a number from Atlanta. Well, I know they're based out of Atlanta. So I called them. What's going on with my money?
Yeah.
Well, we just, that's a large sum of money. We just have to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of.
So now they're no longer your banker, they're your nanny.
Now they're my psychologist.
Now they're psychologists.
Okay.
They're your pastor.
Yeah.
They're your financial advisor.
Yeah.
Okay.
your nanny.
And make sure you're not being taken advantage
So
of.
finally I said, listen, what I want you to do right now is to send that money.
Right.
Well, have you checked? I'm like, listen, do you think that I'm stupid enough to send this amount of money to somebody I don't know?
Right. That's how crazy
Are,
they
are
are.
you crazy?
And yet you're supposed to trust them who are proving that they're holding your money.
Wow,
The
they're
one that-
massaging my money.
Yes. And they
Okay.
got in the market somewhere trying to
They were pulling it 10 days so they could make some money.
You know exactly what
Yeah,
they're doing.
USD.
They got to go pull it out of somewhere, and they're stalling.
They're stalling.
Stalling. Okay?
They're
Because
stalling.
they're running out of tokens, Papa. They printed more money than there is assets in the earth.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I realize that.
So there's no way to redeem all these dollars. And the last guy out of the game of musical chairs ends up sitting on the floor. Just saying.
That's what's happening right
Okay.
now.
And we've heard many
What'd you
stories
say, Jeff?
about that.
What'd you say,
Yeah,
Jeff?
that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now.
Uh-huh.
Last guy out's going to be good holding the bag.
Yeah,
You don't see how fast they're running for the exit?
It's just people. It's just a question of people figuring out that they're in a game of musical chairs, and
Right.
that the music's going to stop pretty soon. So the illusion that people have is it's safety versus there's some risk over here, and then, no, it ain't safe where you got it. If you don't believe me, go try to withdraw it. If it's anything over $100.
Well, not only that, but now you got exchanges that if you do put your money in, you do decide to get out of the dollar, then you got to pay big, gigantic fees for every transfer. So they got you coming and going, right?
Yes.
So I just wanted to go ahead, brother.
Yeah, well, the guy that's managing your money, he's going to take his cut.
Right. And these guys are getting $1 million salaries. Let me tell you, they're getting it somewhere, and they're not sharing where from you. So here you have all of this stuff going on. We're watching this collapse. This is real time, folks. We don't have time to think about this. We got to deal with it real time. It's one of the reasons why I'm so very proud of, again, the team here at New Kingdom, the elders at the gate, where the 12-stone altar is on North American soil, on Kadosh land. And Yahuah puts it on our hearts that we have got to come up with a remedy.
Yes.
And an exit. And Yahuah created the exit. We just follow the instructions.
Yes.
So you now do have a Kadosh exit. You have a place to park overnight or over the week or for here or there when you have
and it's
to.
So easy. It's so easy.
You tell them about it, brother, because you did it. You guys, the whole team did a phenomenal job. You can attest to it.
It's fantastic too.
Oh,
go ahead, Dave.
My goodness. You know, it's everything is right there. You don't have to. So, let me go to this website now. Oh, now I got to go to this website. Oh, now I got to do.
I got to become a trader. I got to know all about these graphs.
Right.
And he's what is all these graphs and I don't understand crypto and what is all this and right? It's complicated. They made it complicated on purpose.
Yes, it's nothing more than a number.
This is why I'm so proud of you guys. You took all the complicated out of it.
Yes, it's
and you
nothing
made it
more
nice
than
and
a
simple.
number.
It's even going to have a debit card pretty soon.
Yeah,
I mean it's got everything. It's
go
better
ahead.
than
Tell them about that, brother Jeff. That's a great point. Go ahead, tell them about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I can send and receive money like Cash App for
Yes.
for very little fee or no fee,
No fees.
No fees.
no fees.
No fees. I had a
fees.
single mother looking at it going, that doesn't have any fees. And she got excited. I said, yeah.
If I can outperform a CD, if
Yeah.
I can, park it there for a day or a month or whatever,
Or a year.
and also get a debit card and make purchases like usual.
Until you can't.
And I
Until they
do all
come
that for
down
no
with the,
fees. And I'm getting better than much better than a CD. The heck do I care about these other traditional institutions? I don't. I'm getting more features, better, cheaper, and I can send and receive in seconds instead of.
No, we don't have that. But we do have. We have a
10 business days. It's a matter of seconds.
Yeah, we don't have investments, guys. So I don't. He kind of slipped there and talking. What we have instead is we have token options. Rewards that we give for people that participate in our community, because it's something called staking. It's a very important part of the development of a token, and you need people that basically beta test basically your stuff. So this is one of the ways that we can do that and not sell an investment. So you guys are picking that up. We cannot do that. That is their word. They own that word. They invented that word. We can't use that word. You get me? But what we can do is we can have participation in a reward framework that rewards people for participation and helping us, making sure that the entire system is working properly. And the other thing that you get with this, by the way, is your voice is heard, because token holders can vote on proposals regarding platform enhancements and community initiatives and other significant changes through a transparent voting mechanism that we will use from time to time when we need to make upgrades. So we're going to be looking at a lot of these ways. Yes, some might call it that. We can't call it that, but you know what that is, okay? So it's basically we have a reward point system and we reward in the SKL. Why does this matter? It's not about the money. It's not about any of that. It's about getting spiritually out from under the cover of the devil. We didn't even realize what we were doing. We had no idea what we had done to ourselves. And so little by little, we're realizing that we're hoarding, putting mattresses, sticking in our wallets, considering precious that which is occult. If somebody had handed you a Ouija board and a piece of paper, would you fold it up, put it in your wallet, and carry it everywhere you go? No, you'd set a fire to the dang thing. You'd burn it. Jeff, we'd burn it, right?
Well,
what do we do with tokens?
That's a really cool thing. If you can give an offering to an altar and have that offering burned at the altar,
we didn't even make that up. They came up with that term.
Yeah. So in the crypto world, it's called burning coins. So if an offering gets burned at the altar, it's really bizarre how that worked out 2,000 years later. I don't know if that was intentional.
Not only that, but the word token is in the scripture multiple times. There's a lot of this that's just like blowing my mind. But one of the things that we can't get around this, folks, there's no way around. The USD is a token. So you are already in crypto. Sorry, hate to break it to you. If you thought, oh, I don't know about that, you already are. Those pieces of paper are reflective of a digital system. That's it. We went off any real legitimate cash in the 70s.
Right.
In the 70s, when Gerald and I noticed, we didn't even barely realize what they were doing, right? And now we're looking back on those rat
turds,
right? We don't have nice words for them,
those
right?
Rat droppings.
Because Gerald, they took people's houses with this stuff, didn't they, Gerald? They stole people's homes, they stole families, they ripped apart lives.
Yeah, land grab.
You can't prosper in it. That's another thing, you saints. Right. You're wondering why you're struggling and feeling like you're fighting the wind.
Yeah.
He won't let you, but he will let you survive, and that's it. He will not let you get to your real wealth in this cursed thing.
That's right.
Right.
So he has to provide a way of escape so he can give you your wealth transfer. And as soon as you say it, you go, oh, wow, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes total sense. So they're going down. They're going down like, you know what? And guess what?
Freddie Brown.
The remnant are rising.
Right.
The remnant are rising. Jeff, you've been around the crypto space a long time. We launched the SKL shekel last week to complement the NKDM to run on the ground. The NKDM is our long-term vehicle. It is the gold standard here at New Kingdom. And it is backing the SKL. And the SKL is out there on the street right now, available at lobster.co. So anybody can jump into that and get out of the dollar and get into something kadosh. It's the only thing kadosh out there. Sorry, folks. And if you got something else, let me know, because I can't find anything else that is kadosh.
Mhm.
And Jeff, we got that instituted. And you've been around crypto space a long time. Have you ever seen a token come out and hold itself right where it was supposed to hold itself?
No, I have not. Usually it's in the form when I saw where there's a big emotional rush, and it'll go up and then it'll come down, and it'll be a long time before it finds its weight. But the beautiful thing about this, I can tell you, is that it's structured very well. There's no, it's not sloppy. There's no additional supply. It's very tight. It's very liquid.
Extremely tight. 100% liquid.
Yeah, it's
extremely
solid.
tight. It's intentionally extremely tight. So we, because it was capital backed by the whole faith and credit, if you will, of all of New Kingdom, and New Kingdom got behind it with its elders and said, we're going to get behind this and we're going to make sure it is liquid and it is strong and it is capable and it is ready. And so we did that. And now it is performing. And the beautiful thing about its design, and this is why I mentioned the 70 to 90% of all of your transactions you're seeing out there are automated machines. They are not people. So it's like bot traffic. Okay. Think about bot traffic on social media and all that. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, so these are all bots that are making this thing run, talking you and I into jumping in, turn off the football game and jump into XRP or something. Right. Mm-hmm. But what you're about to see is that it is all rigged to a degree. And if you understand its functionality, you can function in its system. So we did that, and we implemented the new strategy with the SKL, which came out at 36 cents, I believe. And David, again, is part of our beta test team. So David, I want you always to give us our straight, skinny, no BS single mother review. This is for single moms, okay? Because David will tell you this is what makes me cry. Yes. This is what gets my passion. This is what gets me heavy. And I will not back up here. I will fight to the last breath in my body for my sisters who are single mothers, for my brothers who are battling just to keep their families together, the widow who is battling, the elderly who can't even go out and earn any money anymore, and now they're being robbed. I can't take it. It's driven me so bananas. So you tell us what your results. He played the role of the single mom. Somebody had the beta test. Tell us, David.
I beta tested this, and I said, okay, I'll throw a couple $100 in there.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry, and I'll go ahead and I'll do it. And literally, the next day, it was up to So remember, I put 200 in, right? And the next day it was 226,
right?
Okay, and then the following day it went up to 231.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
what's it at now?
You know what? Honestly, I did not look.
Go look while you're talking to me. Go look. Can you look?
I was preparing for this.
So. Yeah, go take a peek. Go take a peek and tell us what is that, because I'm telling you guys, see, this has not been set up with a liquidity pool and a robot. Okay,
right.
Where it's going, it's programmed to go.
Yeah, and that's what I'm most excited about, because one of the great things is I get to see behind the scenes. So I've seen coins go up and go down. What I like about this structure is it's airtight, it's stable, it's the real deal. And
we didn't do anything. Okay, so we can't take credit for that increase that David experienced. We didn't do anything. As I told you guys, All we did was take David and say, step off here. He stopped moving downward. That's all we did. We just moved him over to something that wasn't moving, that would hold his value.
Yeah,
and as the dollar continued to descend, when he checked back, what he measured was how much he would have lost had he left it. Are you with me now? This is what's making me so mad. Okay, this is what he would have lost, and they wouldn't have told him. He would have had no idea, because he would still have the same number of USD units. So if he has 200 USD, he still has the 200 USD units. What he doesn't know is that from Friday night to Sunday or Monday, they were robbing him, and that they stole 20% of his value, meaning his money wouldn't go as far. But by contrast, we had a brother, another one of the elders, who was building out here, and he had to send me a deposit. And he sent it to me right before Shabbat, and I ran. I mean, I was corgi running, right, to get it over into the shekel and park it so that it wouldn't lose its value from the weekend while it was sitting that fast. It made a $400 difference, just moving it over for him.
Wow.
So you tell me, am I being a genius, or are they robbing you that fast?
Right. They're robbing you.
Are you trying to tell me I'm some super investment guru or something, or we're some super geniuses? No, they're robbing at that pace.
That's what's exciting to me, is the structure is solid. It's a fixed supply. There's no adding additional coins, adding additional currency. It's a fixed. So when you have the same supply and more demand, the value, the increased value.
We had a lot of movement today, so we had several updates to the back panel today. Because
I'm not saying it's always the
case. So David, give us an update, David. Your $200 you put on November 29th. What day is it today? December 1st.
December 1st.
What's that $200 sitting at today? And all we did was park it. We didn't do anything. Right. We're not out making moves. We're not making moves, people. We just parked it. That's all we did. Okay, David.
Well, it's up 10.33%.
So what's it at?
Unfortunately,
you got to do the math. Okay, I'll do the math.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Unfortunately, it's sitting on this laptop.
Oh, you got to look at it that way.
Yes. What I am looking at is the Lobster wallet.
Okay. Oh. Well, that won't tell you the same information. So let me figure it out real quick, because I know what it is. And
sorry, I wasn't.
That's all right. I caught you by surprise.
You did.
And I knew that it updated. So what he doesn't know, what he will find out when he's off this laptop and can go check, is his account is now at $243. Wow. Now, that may not sound like a ton of money. I mean, he's not getting rich or anything, right?
How many accounts do you know that do that?
When you put your money in Cash App, do you come back and find $40 extra later, a few days later?
Nope.
No? Because they're robbing you. Do you understand? Yes. We ain't doing nothing special. We are not being awesome. We are, but we're not like what Jeff is.
We're taking care of our brethren.
Doing
right.
Is just holding on to. We're the guy. You remember when you were young? Come on now, my old brothers. You guys all remember this. Yeah. There was that guy that you gave your money to when you knew you was going to be stupid. And you said, listen, hold this so that if I get drunk or be dumb or do something stupid, I'll have some money left over, right? And you had that straight guy. You know, that straight guy. You know who I'm talking about. In the military, you had it in the barracks.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, John, hang on to my $300. Hang on to my $300 because I'm going out with the guys tonight. And I know if I have it, I'll spend it. Right?
Yes.
How many remember having one of those guys when you're a young person? Anybody? Okay. If you're in the military, you probably had at least one guy that was like that in your life. I sure did. Okay. So I would say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just go on over to newkingdom.io, by the way, Steve. So, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? Well, I'm going to hand this to my buddy, John, and John doesn't drink. John doesn't hang out. John's not being stupid. John's sitting back at the barracks. So the next day when I'm stumbling along, John walks up to me and says, hey, here's your $300 you told me to hold. I did. Yeah, you don't remember last night? You were a little drunk. You weren't doing so good, man. You weren't feeling well. You told me to hold this. I did? Yeah, you don't remember? Well, here's your $300, man. There you go. What did John do for you? He didn't do anything special other than hold your value for you and give it back to you when you were sober. That's all we're doing. Y'all are drunk holding your money in a dropping asset. Y'all are drunk. Okay? You got to be outside your mind to watch this thing dropping every single day and you holding stuff in it. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's just help me make it make sense. It's the worst token of all of them. I'd rather you be in Shibu Inu or something. You know what I mean?
All right,
Stop supporting the owl. Listen to me.
That's the biggest thing right
you
there.
You are capitalizing their system with your energy. Okay? If 100 of you came and said, I'm going to stand with the shekel, we get your energy. But instead, every night, they're giving them their energy.
Not anymore.
Okay, it's starting to change. But the point is that, you see, this is what had to happen. This is why he had to make a way of escape. Now, before he could give you this way of escape, he had to set the Kadosh land apart.
Absolutely.
He had to put his altar there. Thank you. He had to put his altar there, his name there.
Yes.
So that when you came there, wherever there is, doesn't matter who's there, just so long as it's a place of solace spiritually. So now you get to say, okay, I'm with New Kingdom. I got my stuff over there. If I need it, I can go and I can move it anywhere in the world. Okay. That SQL is a universal currency. It goes anywhere. You want it in British pounds? You got you. You want it in euro? We got you. You want it in US dollar? Toy, we got you. Okay. Toy, we got you, right? Whatever you want, we got you, right? Because it's universal. That goes to tell you something. Yahuah is making a way of escape.
Yes, he is.
And when we began to realize it, we said, wow, this is bigger than just managing our resources or whatever. Guys, we're doing something that's way more kadosh. We didn't realize how important this was until we started to look around like nobody else is doing this.
Right.
Nobody's even thinking about it. Are they, Jeff?
No. What they'll run
in terms of people leaving the dollar, we're probably at that point where the musicians are still playing on the Titanic. They're calmly getting on the lifeboat.
Isn't that right, Gerald? They're still playing on the Titanic. What were you going to say, brother?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, but yes, I lost my thought. But and what was the question again?
The guy hasn't put the woman's fur coat on yet. They're still just orderly getting on the lifeboats. Everything's pretty calm. If that's the point of the leaving of the dollar, is where it's right about that stage. But when it gets to where it goes like this, the Titanic, at that point you're in stampede.
Okay, so I think everybody knows, even if they're watch politics, that the Donald Trump administration has already pretty much started a war with the Fed already. The Fed came out and said, you can't fire me, and Donald Trump's like, they're gonna fire the whole thing. Let me just tell you something. El Salvador is now an example of a country that's pulling out of its debt using tokens. Why is this a powerful thing to understand in this moment? Because it's not going to be going away. This new president and this new administration is 100% all in on this mechanism, right? And there's good and there's bad with this. The good part of it is there's a lot more freedom. They weren't able to pull in the restrictions that they were trying to put on all of you. And Yahuah prevented them from putting laws and restrictions that would have put you in a straitjacket.
Right.
I'm telling you right now.
USC.
They wanted to.
Right.
And we were laughing our butts off, weren't we, Jeff? Because we asked ChatGPT. And ChatGPT busted them out and said there are 0 regulations that they have actually effectively passed in this space. They're trying to stretch these agencies to cover them, but it's not working. And now you have a pro president coming in who's turning into the skids. He's going to push his own token. So
Yeah.
this is how you get your country out of debt.
They may or may not
Okay?
still call it. They may still call it the dollar.
They could just
but
call it the American dollar token, AMD, or something else. All it has to be is not the Federal Reserve. That's all it has to be. And as soon as they do that, okay, it's a whole new game, folks.
Yeah, listen, he told me they're going to get crumbled. So I'm telling you what's going on.
They're coming down.
Yeah.
And the people that are going to get hurt the most are the average Joe, okay?
Yes.
Not the military, not the politicians, not the bankers, not the insurance guys. The guy that's going to get the most hammered in this situation is my brother who's working hard at a factory, my sister who's raising 3 children on her own and barely makes it. She's the one that's going to get hammered. And for their sake, the elders said, not on my watch.
Absolutely.
The end. If we have to take a loss and we have to fund it ourselves, you're not going down like that because my king is watching. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
And the cherry on top, like Brother David said, is it's a really simple interface. It's a really simple onboard.
All right, so that solves one part of the problem, but does that solve it all? No. There's merchants, don't we? We that's great for your personal, but what about your business?
What if you're a merchant selling a product
and you need to find a kadosh way to sell it and accept payment without being in their system? How many of you sat up and going, I really wish I didn't have to deal with these fools?
Yeah.
I really wish I didn't have to deal with these fools. Come on. How many know that David was up there in that whole 3.5, 4 week period going, man, I wish I never put a dime in your stupid institution. I wish I never heard of you people, right?
Yes,
He's mad.
Yes.
Right? Today, he asked for money to be moved from his account where he had stuff in the beta account that we had it. I don't know if you've noticed already, but it was done a half an hour later. Man, it was a non-event.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the system is designed to work nice and smooth. Okay.
You didn't tell him the dog ate the wire
we didn't have no 10-day wait. We didn't got no fees. We didn't got none of that nonsense.
Massaging my money.
You didn't have to get a doctor's note. You didn't tell him the dog ate the wire transfer.
Man, that's my brother right there, man. You want to know how many times he pulled me out of ditches? You want to know how many times my brothers had my back? That man will not suffer loss on my watch.
That's right.
Not on my watch. You better find somebody else. You better find somebody else, because not on my watch will he lose a dime. Amen. Because somebody better stand. And I'm mad. I'm mad because I'm seeing shepherds who are abandoning their flock. And they're leaving you behind. And they're going off and they're doing their own thing and taking care of themselves. But they haven't thought about you. And they haven't come up with a plan for you. And all they did was take care of themselves. And they got themselves all set up. But what about that mother that's been coming to that little assembly, or what about that family? And they don't have an answer, and they don't have the time. They haven't had the time to spend to invest in this kind of thing so they can understand it and get in front of it and start protecting families. They didn't think like that. Oh, they got all the money in the world, though. They got USD coming out their ears. They got so much of it, you find it in bathroom walls, I heard about.
That they get from the parishioners. Right, exactly.
But they can't take care of a single widow, and they can't make sure that there's a method, a mechanism, a system, something that will survive even a nuclear strike. Somebody asked me today, they said, what if the power goes out? So you don't seem to understand. This is New Kingdom. We don't play. We got our own power, and we have an intranet. So if that system goes down, well, we'll have to wait for y'all to come back online. We'll be the ones drinking the Kool-Aid. We'll be the ones drinking the lemonade. We'll be the ones drinking the iced tea on the back porch, waiting for your system to come back online, because we never went down. You don't understand who's building this house. I said, when Yahuah builds a house, if Yahuah doesn't build it, they're going to labor in vain. But there's a bunch of hirelings out there, and they're going to leave you guys right in this lurch. They're leaving you right now. Are they telling you? Name the names of them. Which one of these mahogany geniuses came out and told you just lost 20% in the last 3 days? Pulling their hair out, posting things on Facebook saying, folks, are you seeing this? How many? Tell me their names of the ones that are warning you. And then providing you a way of escape. That's Gadosh. We're done playing games here, folks. It's time for grown-ups, and we need grown-up solutions. We're tired of all these games, and I'm telling you to your face, you bunch of hirelings, your 15 minutes are over. You better get in line. You better get off, because my king is coming.
Oh, man.
And he is coming with fire in his eyes. And you who have scattered his sheep will rue the day he arrives. So I would encourage all of you to find the way of escape. And you don't have to trust us. Find something else. You find something better, please let us know.
You
Okay?
won't.
You find a different solution that puts you in kadosh, that puts you in peace, shalom.
Ah.
David, tell them what you experienced, what you
Oh,
tell me.
Oh my goodness. I mean, up until, we really started this process, I was losing sleep every single night. Because I'm naturally, my brain is always working, and it doesn't take a rest. But now, oh my goodness, I slept 9.5 hours. That's unheard of. At my age?
Peace
Are
of
you
mind.
kidding me? 9.5 hours, and I felt so refreshed. Anyway,
That's called a sign and a wonder at our age. Okay, that
Absolutely.
is a miracle right there. That's
That's
something lay on the hands kind of thing right there. That's some holy ruach going on, isn't that, brother?
Listen. When you don't have to stress and worry about,
Why aren't you stressed?
Yeah.
Why aren't you stressed?
Because I have, my treasure is not in this world.
Come on.
It's not in this world.
You see, when you saw the flag, you're supposed to know it was an embassy. When you saw his Torah on the gate, you were supposed to know it's an embassy. When you saw his 12-stone altar, you were supposed to know it's an embassy. Even if that embassy is in some foreign land, guess what? As soon as you cross that gate, you are now in the land of the embassy that is there.
Yes.
And we are his ambassadors.
Yes.
This is his land.
Yes.
And you have come to Kadosh when you come here. Somebody give him his kavod. Hallelujah. Woo! Hallelujah. And so this is why we did this. We did it to partner. So when you open, you can not only, they set this up so nice. You guys, you got to see this. This is amazing. Individually, you can set it up so you can just do it for yourself. For your business, you want to accept payments for your business. You want to accept payments from anybody. Just like Cash App, do it over here. And the same thing, if you want to do it as a ministry, we even have a door for that. So ministries, we're not in competition with you. Okay. We're not in competition with you. All right. Now we're in beta testing now, guys. So give us a little bit of a break while we're tightening everything up. newkingdom.io. Okay. The SKL shekel was issued on the XLM network, not XRP. XLM was started with XRP, and the guy who started XLM took off and said, I don't want nothing to do with what you're doing. That's why I'm with XLM. XLM is just as fast as XRP, but isn't as tainted. And then on top of that, we cleaned it up by putting the shekel separate. So we're not in their mess. We're not in there. We're in the world, but not of it. We had to stand apart. You have to be connected enough to function. So we got to be close enough to where at least when we need to, we can hack the matrix, if you will, right?
Step in, step out.
We got to come up to broadcast depth and hack the matrix, right? Okay. But then when we want to, we need to be able to get out of there.
Out. Right.
And so if you're moving to XLM or XRP or Ether, or that's not moving out of the system, you're still in. You're still in. You still need an exit. It's only when you come into the Kadosh that you come out. And I didn't see this. I thought of it. It was something. I thought it was something else, and it's not. It's about the spirit. It's not about money. So don't think about like, oh, I'm gonna save money, or else, you know what? It's about the spiritual things.
Yes,
and that's what my brother experienced right away. Right.
First and foremost, absolutely.
He got it in his ruach. He's like, for the first time, I don't have to worry. And the second thing is he parked his money, and just by virtue of the fact that he's got brothers like these guys, look at them. Do you think?
There. Right there,
and Gerald's now coming to join us. Who do you think's going to hold us accountable? Put our feet to the fire, man. We ain't making no mistakes, Jack. And he's an efficiency expert. He's going to bring all those skills to help us to get even better, right? The point is that you got guys looking out for you.
Absolutely.
All right, you got love in one spot where you got a big giant heart of love that are saying, hey, we got you. If you got a problem, let us know. If you're struggling, we love you. We'll pray for you. We're with you, but we're not against you. We can't do anything about what they did to you, but we can sure stop the pain if we can stop the slide, right? If we can stop the depreciation, if we can stop the enemy from stealing everything from you, we want to help. But we're not going to make you, because we built a system that's very unique. Let me tell you something about it. I don't need 5 million people. Tell them, Jeff.
No, you don't. It's structured such a way that it could be however many there are. That's the liquidity and that's the circulating supply, and it works out relatively the same. The ratio is the same.
So
it
10
could
or
be
10,000.
It could be 1,000 people. Doesn't matter. It's still solid, and it still works for those members.
It'll work the same for 100 as it will 20,000.
Yep.
So it only changes scale, but the numbers do not change, and that is what we now know. They have done. They rigged it, and now we figured out the rigging, so we unrigged it, right? But here's the point. Here's the point. What we're telling you is, look, we're just going to let you know. NewKingdom.io. Go on over there. You want to check it out? You can check it out. You want to go on and check out the SKL, help yourself. But what you're going to find is you cannot buy it under the price that it's at. Ain't nobody going to sell it to you, and ain't nobody dumping it. Go ahead. Help yourself. See if you can find somebody, boom, to give you one. Okay? These things are precious from the day we protected shekel 1, number 1, and we will not let it not be protected from now on. We learned a lot in this 4 years, a lot. We got an education and a half about how it works. So we're walking in a little bit differently with this one. This one's showing what we learned from NKDM, and it is phenomenal what we learned. And I'm telling you right now, we're walking up. January 20th. It's a big day.
Yes, it is.
So without wanting to say too much, those of y'all are smart.
Now's the time.
If I were you and I saw these 4 brothers up here who loved you and are trying to find ways to help you, I might say, hold on a minute. These people are willing to take their lives and risk their reputations and everything to try and just help out with people that they don't even have to help. Okay, they could just quietly go off and do this without even letting nobody know. They just said they could do this with just 10 people. You'll see us hold value. Don't matter how many people hold the shekel. Makes no difference, because the liquidity was not provided by the market. It was not provided by you all buying and hoping it would do well. No, this thing was planned.
Yes.
Okay, and structured. For a purpose. And so now you're seeing the difference, and you're going to see, wow, that is powerful. So you have a counter in position right now. So people have, what they use stable coins for is what they do is they put their profits in their stable coin so that they don't lose value, except they're being suckered. Do you know that the stable coin, tell them, Jeff.
Well, it serves a purpose. They get to predictable price. It's
stable coin's the biggest ripoff of all of them.
Well,
you know it, and I know it.
Depending on your risk averse nature, if you don't like risk, if you just want a stable, solid thing, then it serves a purpose. But
stable coin is to keep you inside. They don't want you leaving.
Yes, with minimal returns. With minimal returns.
They will want you leaving, so stay inside.
That's the stock market for you right there.
That's right. You need a new stable coin. You need a Kadosh stable coin, okay? It's not the same kind. It doesn't function the way it works there. We ain't trying to peg to their dollar. We ain't trying to peg to their stupid things. We're not trying to do that. You need a different kind of stability that comes from the rock, all right? And stable coins can crash, because they're robbing. They're stealing from people. And as soon as the market goes the other way, they never put away any reserves because they're a bunch of thieves. So when the market reverses, you think it's all going to be feast? Really? Are you people that naive? We're going to go about a few months into this administration. It's going to be feast time. They're going to be like drunken sailors. Watch. Okay? It's going to be crazy.
Seen it.
You already seen some of it. You haven't seen it all. Wait till that inauguration. It's going to be like drunken sailors. But guess what happens at the end of every party? What do we know? The sober people know. Everybody knows there's always a time when that waitress has to come and bring somebody to bill.
Absolutely.
And right then the party is over.
Somebody going to have to pay that bill.
That's right. And that bill's going to come home to roost on a dead system. And that's when it's going to hit these mommies and there's poppies and these single moms and all that.
Widows.
So we're doing And by the way, all of you smart people out there who have ideas, don't stand on the sidelines Monday morning quarterbacking.
Come on.
Get in this fight with us.
Come on.
Get on up here at the table and share the things that you've learned. Bring your wisdom to the table. And remember, the goal is to protect and preserve our family.
Yes.
Not become rich.
No.
Not become blah, blah, blah.
No.
Okay? No big shot-itis.
Mm-mm.
We're here to preserve families, to preserve lives, because he told us to preserve, to protect, and to feed them. All
And
right?
that's what we're going to do.
I don't know. Maybe you are okay with them robbing them. We literally,
No.
right, Jeff? Watching them picking their pocket with a digital machine, stealing, and we're standing there staring at it like we want to call somebody. We want to call 911. We want to call a policeman.
Yeah.
Don't we, Jeff? I mean, we're sitting there going, this is a straight up robbery, and
Yes,
we're watching it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is something anyone can participate in. You know, it's open. The Jubilee
Or give
is
us
there
a better
for everyone.
suggestion. Or give us a better suggestion that instantaneously supports people wherever they are, that can provide for them wherever they are, that can solve the problem wherever they are. And it's Kadosh operating from a place where his name is.
Come on.
Yeah, those are your parameters. Go. Let us know when you found a different answer, right? And so this is why we have to remember.
I don't know
these
another
things.
medium of exchange. Yeah, I don't,
Nope.
I don't
Anyway.
know another medium of exchange that's built on. Yeah.
They all operate in greed, and that's the problem.
There it is. And that's what we saw when we were starting this next coin off. We said, okay,
Yes.
if you're greedy, you're going to blow it.
Right.
Okay. If you don't understand how these things work, you're going to blow it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you protect and preserve and you make it hermetically sealed, as I've been saying lately, this is my word, my liquidity hermetic seal. You hermetically seal. You don't touch that thing. That's not for you. Unless you put your own money in there, you don't touch it. Right? Because you become the truly honest dealer. You do not mess with it. You don't get to play around because you're running. That's why you need elders, men who have kadosh hands filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, 7 men appointed to this business who look out for the entire community.
That's right.
That is kadosh in the book of Acts.
Yes.
That is what he set down as an example. And I had to go all the way back to the Sea of Galilee. Now here I am going, oh, now I get it. And they've been robbing us, saints. And why? Because we sleep on their system. Why are we sleeping with Sodom and Gomorrah money under our pillow? Give it back to them. Give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Amen. Burn their token. Every time you come into, by the way, that's another thing spiritually. Do you realize every time you come into the shekel, you're burning one of their tokens? Disappears and never comes back to them again. Bye. Every time you come into the shekel, you're burning their token.
And it's called burning.
And it's called burning, but you really are burning it because it's not circulating anymore. See, they wanted it to keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. Not no more. We about done. The only time we pull it out is when we absolutely have to. And that, folks, is the way we were supposed to function. We were never supposed to buy in and get comfortable. So isn't that exactly, Gerald, what happened in Egypt? Didn't they go down to where provision was and then get a little comfortable?
Yeah, complacent, and docile.
And started spending that money with Egyptian symbols on it?
Comfortable.
Yeah. And pyramids and eyes and all this weird stuff on there. And that was normal, right? They were working for that. They were slaves.
Yeah.
Like today.
It was so bad that they, only 2 made it into the promised land.
Yeah.
So folks,
patch, yeah. And what I'm seeing here, people that that's waking up and doing their best to come out of Babylon. Well, there's 3 steps to this. There's
that's right.
To this. It's just not one. People feel like, well, I come out of the church, I come out of Catholicism, come out of some religion. Now I'm free. I'm out of Babylon, but we're still all up in that political arena.
How you gonna tell me you're up out of Babylon when you still holding Babylonian stuff in your pocket?
Well, yeah, they want to support the political system of it and the economical system. Now they are those that's coming out of the politics of it. They're starting to see that both sides are playing. There are some that can't.
They can't see past that, but because they
can't.
put so much effort and energy into seeing this side win, we want our team to win, without
Right.
realizing they went from the frying pan to the fire. So,
And so they're still in Babylon.
yep.
Not it came out on the religious end, but in the political arena, they're still in it. And now this is the big one. Now these folks waking up to this and know that they've been jerked around with the politics. But now the hard part is that last one is coming out of the financial and economical system of the Babylon.
All right, so let's tie this back to the word, because it all has to come back from the scripture. So he tells us in Matthew chapter 6 to lay not for yourselves treasures here on earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt and thieves break through and steal.
Come on.
But he said, instead lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust will not break through and steal, where moth and rust will not corrupt and thieves won't break through and steal.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Qumran was a perfect example of that picture on earth as it is in heaven, right? So they prayed that every single day, and they had to conduct themselves in very high ethics and very high integrity. They were literally, I believe, the standard in the earth at the time. And then we lost that because we compromised with Constantine and the boys, and we forgot our place in the light that we were supposed to shine in the darkness, to be the example of the right way to do it. And so instead, we let the devil lead, and we let the devil come up with the monetary system, and we just followed along, and we bought into it, and we never had to. And now we're finally finding our courage again. And we're saying, nope, I'm done playing this game. And if it doesn't have his name on it, I don't want nothing to do with it. If you give him US dollars, I'm going to go wash them. That's right. I'm going to go put them through a spiritual wash. I'm going to make sure that they come to the altar. I'm going to make sure that they bow before the name that is above every other name. I'm going to pour that thing on the ground and make it bow before my king. And then I'm going to put it in a different form so I can burn it. Its previous form is dead. Now tell me again how that anything else does the same thing. Yahuah is watching. And so I believe that right now we are seeing the death of an old system.
Yeah.
It is coming apart very, very fast.
Yes.
We're watching massive liquidity shifts, which is the wealth transfer that you all knew was coming. And it isn't going to be for everyone, as they are not paying attention. So those of you that are wise and you get undercover, look what your brothers have done. They said, we'll do the heavy lifting. We do the heavy work. We did a lot of the work. We did the grunt work. We're going to make this stupid easy. That's love. That, my friends, was love, because I know these men, they didn't need to do that. They could have just quietly did their own thing without nobody knowing, and they would have been just fine. But instead, Yahuah puts on a group of men's hearts and women, so it's not just men, to find ways of escape, to help our brethren escape, to not leave them like a bunch of hirelings would.
Come on.
Okay? And, Gerald, I know that you weren't involved in the code and the hard work of that part, but I also know that you know how important this is. We both come from families that battled their way up, that struggled. Economically, we're robbed in every which way. I can't live with it, brother. I can't do it. I can't sleep at night knowing what I know and having the gifts and talents that we've been given and not putting them to work for my brethren. I just can't do it. So keep us in prayer for this one, because this is a battle we're about to step into more of it here very soon. Last words, brethren, before we go.
Don't sleep on this. Guys, he's made a way of escape. Take it.
Take it. Whether you take it or not, we're going to do what we're going to do. It's going to do what it's going to do, baby. It's going to march to its targets. Okay, read between my lines, folks. It's going to march to its targets because it was programmed to do so. I'm watching it. We are watching it real time. Are we not, Jeff?
Yeah, this it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'll put it that way. But big picture, it's
I love how you said that.
It's a solid structure. It has enormous integrity. I've been, looking at this.
That I can vouch for.
Yeah, David saw it firsthand. And regardless of what you do, like Apostle Peter said, do something. I have a lot of. I'm really impressed with the integrity and how solid this system is.
And some of you have a spouse that says, I'm skeptical. Tell you what.
Let me show
Apostle Peter's challenge. Okay. You put $100 in the shekel and leave it there for a few days. Okay, just a few days, and come back and check. And then do the same thing with Cash App. Put your $100 there, and then come back and check in a couple of days. and then I want you to do a head-to-head comparison, because the data is the data.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're done with that data, spendable, you can send it to your brother cash. Okay. You tell me the difference, and we'll talk then.
Yeah,
I'm not proving. I'm done trying to prove anything to anybody. If all that we've done for 30 years is not proof enough, Gerald, I don't know how much more we got to do to show. Yeah. Okay, I'm done proving anything to anybody. I'm just telling you what we're going to do. I call my shots to center field, and then I take my batter's box. Okay, I'm telling you right now, we're going to walk to our target. So you can either come with, or you can just be a spectator. But either way, we're going to get there.
Listen, it's Kadosh, and Yahuah is going to make sure of it.
Yeah, there's going to be a decision made, with this current currency that we have. Yeah. Now, are you going to make the choice?
No, are they going to make it for you?
Because it will be shifted automatically. If you do not specify, I do not want this, this new deal, because that's what it's coming to. That's
what it's really coming down to, isn't it, Gerald? We've seen this before. We've seen this before.
When they got rid of the gold and silver certificate and replaced it with reserve notes, honey, that's when they put the slide on us right there.
That's right.
And So anyway,
I got brethren out here with us who've been around just as longer, and they seen the same squirrely behavior before.
Yep.
Except we were children back then. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what we were looking at, but we ain't children no more.
So Mr. Trump might be the one that comes up with. He's going to
15 minutes are over.
He's going to be the feller like.
That's right. And let me explain real quick, folks, for those of you who don't know, because somebody's asking this question, so I want to solve this in the discussion. Whether you're giving on our website or doing shekel, you're going to be dealing with debit cards and stuff. That's the mechanism we've all been using for some time. So
for now,
that is your transfer mechanism. So if you have a debit card, there's a mechanism or a system called Stripe, which is for US dollars. So Stripe will move your money off your card in USD and put it into the system. Then from there, once it's in the system, then you can move it to SKL. So it's a two-step process. You have to move it on first. Then it's just like Cash App. When you put dollars on your Cash App, okay? You guys ever see this on Cash App? Maybe you didn't even notice this, but in Cash App, I got two phones. Hopefully one of them are not dead. Okay, there we go. My phones are always dead, man. Okay. You have Cash App, right? And when you go into Cash App, I have no money on Cash App, but you get the idea. No money. I'm broke as a joke. I don't keep dollars. I don't think you must keep my US dollars in here. What are they gonna do me? They're gonna do me no good. They lose money here. Okay. So I don't leave no dollars in here. But did you notice that right here there's a button for Bitcoin?
Oh.
Because that was what it was originally designed for.
You probably didn't even notice that. A lot of people didn't even know that. So you could take your balance on Cash App and buy Bitcoin with it right here. And then you can send this to your SKL wallet.
I've done it.
Because your SKL wallet has a Bitcoin wallet to receive Bitcoin in it. And then you can get it out of their system. So we're
it literally took 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep
that.
We're just trying to get in front of it. So we're trying to think of things that you guys would have thought of.
It's,
I want you
it's
to think
easier
of it as if you were in the meeting. It's Tammy, it's Steve, Patricia, Christina, Kelly. If you were in the meeting, and we do want to hear from you, by the way, we tried to think of things that you would have asked us to do. Like, ooh, Peter, make it really easy to go from dollars to shekels.
Yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's Canadian, it'll switch over. And you can do all kinds of different transactions right inside there. But the point was not to make it a new exchange. That wasn't the point. The point was just to make it as convenient as possible. Right, guys? It was just to make it easy for them to step away while they're dropping.
Yes.
Without having to be a trading expert and all this crypto and all this fancy schmancy
So
that nobody understands any of it. Okay.
Yeah.
It took me 4 years and I'm not a dumb guy. And I'm telling you, this isn't the easy stuff. So, but it is rigged. So, but you with your thumb, you go, okay, it's over. Now it's in shekels.
Yep.
That's it. That's it.
That's simple.
It's easier.
That's it.
To me, it's easier than Cash App. It's easier than any BANK, interface. It's solid. I don't know.
It is solid.
And we're going to keep working on it. So if you got improvements you want to make, let us know. If you run into problems, let us know. Put up a ticket so we can resolve those problems. We're here to help. We want customer service. We're going to employ a 800 number. We haven't done it yet, but it's going to be coming on the site. You'll see a big old 800 number on there. We're going to have old-fashioned 1970s customer service.
Yes.
Right, Gerald? Old-fashioned 1970s.
A human on the phone.
People actually answer the phone. I mean, you wouldn't think this would be that complicated. Pastor Paul wasn't able to join us tonight, but Pastor Paul is coming on board. He'll be on board full time with us to help with the shekel. So those of you who are learning and are just having a slow process, and maybe this is all new to you, well, don't feel bad. You can reach out and you can talk to Pastor Paul, one of the 7 men filled with the Ruach whom Yahuah has brought. You can talk to my brother Jeff. Either one will be able to get you set up, walk you through whatever you need to walk through, help you out if you need some help, and take care of you. So we have brethren that are happy to talk with you, answer any questions you have, help you out. And remember that what we have, even though we use an interface that says, quote, investment, it's not an investment. It's a structured reward system. You got to be very careful about this because we don't want to run into we don't want to
use their lingo anyway.
Well, yeah, and it has other things in it, so it's got cool things, and your participation is valuable. So last thoughts, guys, before we let them go. David?
Well, all I can really say at this point is I'm glad I did it. I don't regret not a single thing. In fact, it really has brought me shalom, knowing that I'm not participating to the best of my ability. Obviously, I still got to pay bills in their stupid money, but I don't hold money there. So just so you know, it's a really simple interface, and it works. And all I can tell you is it's time.
It's time.
It's time to step out. That's my final thought.
Gerald, final thoughts before we let them go.
Well, if you're going to come out of Babylon, come out all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Not halfway, not 2/3 of the way. Go all the way for
That's
Yahuah.
right. That's right. Yeah, we have to stay with the reward structure. We can't do there's certain terms. So you will see change happening on any terminology that may cause us an issue. And basically what we're doing is avoiding jurisdictional challenges. Reward structure is strictly stuck in the crypto space. That is well within the crypto operational model for us to use that as a incentivization program. Right, Jeffrey?
Yes.
Nothing new about that. That's been going on for quite some time. And incentivization and tokens, the fact that those tokens are redeemable for cash, well, that's just an extra bonus.
It's got a lot of features, a lot of bells and whistles. And if you were if you thought we were in a time in history when the brick is coming from Daniel's vision to destroy the statue of Babylon and the empires, and you were looking for a jump off point, a lot of work has gone into this particular. It's very simple, easy. I saw it. It's got enormous integrity. And the speedboat came, the helicopter came, probably a couple Cessna planes, maybe the Eagles from Lord of the Rings.
I mean, it's time to get off this thing, folks.
It's time.
All right. Well, we
Yes,
love
so
you all.
Time.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. We certainly appreciate each one of you and your insights and your. We appreciate the elders sitting at the gate. It's a beautiful thing to behold. And folks, I want to thank you all who gave us your time tonight. We're not trying to tell you what to do. Please don't get offended at us. We're not trying to tell you what to do. And like I said, we're simply making sure we let you know, because we would have been remiss had we not told you what we were watching. We watched the fall and collapse of the U.S. dollar, and it's continuing to collapse. We just watched today about 20 to 30% in value. We'll see if that holds. And if it is the case, then that just took your buying power, folks. That's not a joke. And that's been really, really irritating me quite a bit. So we've been rolling up our sleeves, working overnight, working diligently, because we're up against some scheduled deadlines. We got some tight things coming on, and there's no way around it. You're going into this time whether you like it or not. So we need to be prepared, and we need to have a better plan than just see what happens. Okay. That seems to be what a lot of people are doing. They either have no plan, they're in search of a plan, or they're executing a bad plan. And so my encouragement is, get with your brethren who are being led of the Ruach of Yahuah. Get with those whom the Ruach is giving answers and solutions to, that will clean you away from the things that are contaminated, that your walk will not have spots or wrinkles. Some of you just find out a demonic doorway you didn't even realize was open. So all we can do is help. All we can do is remedy. After all, if I walked in your house and I saw the same occult symbols that are on your currency on a wall or on a mantle or a desktop, and you were telling me you were having demons, well, we know what things we would be removing from your house, wouldn't we? So, as he told us, do not abide with the accursed thing. Well, that's it for tonight. I pray that this broadcast, this discussion, hopefully it certainly has been edifying to me. I pray it has been as well for you. Well, that's it for tonight. May Yahuah Baruch each and every one of you. And remember, Yahusha HaMashiach, he alone is King of Kings. Amen.